Welcome, everybody. 365 Nation. Today is a very special day. Today is our first ever watch along. And it's not just me watching matches. We got the competitors of the match here today, and they're going to watch it with you. They're going to talk about this match, talk about what they were thinking, feeling, how it was to be in that ring. And we got a huge match to start things off. We have the retirement match from September 15, 2018, between three-time Pure Wrestling champion Reggie Marley, seven-time champion Reggie Marley, and three-time champion Elian Habanero. So let's introduce these guys. Let's bring them in first. We got Reggie Marley, and then we got Elian Habanero.
You didn't finish recording
there, but
Okay.
Yeah. So without further ado, let's see these guys. We got Reggie Marley. We got Elian Habanero. How you guys doing?
Great. I feel taller than Reggie, so that's good.
Yeah.
Well, this is September 15th. This is 2018. This is the retirement match. Anything going into this match you guys want to talk about?
Yes.
Well, as I was saying before, that we're in the back right from the start talking, going back and forth about the match and not really ironing out anything. And Elian at the last second, yo, man, you can pin me if you want. I'll retire. And like, nope. This is what it is. Let's do it.
Yeah, just in case he was getting second thoughts. I was like, you know what, man? You're more important to this industry than I am. And I knew that going in, that I was going to say to him that, you know, if he ever changed his mind, even if it was like at the last second and he's like, dude, I can't do it, I would have took the fall.
And for me, it was crazy because I came to Ontario to be at the show and be part of it. And Elian was stressing out like crazy. He just didn't know what to do. He's like, he didn't want to message you about the match or nothing. But he's like, what if he doesn't want to? Like, what if he has second thoughts? He's like, I'll just lose. I could do that. I could do that for him. And I was like, this is crazy. But he worked himself up so much before this match. I can only imagine, like, you guys sitting beside each other. It must have been so many nerves. But
well, it was like, oh, sorry, no, go ahead.
No. Give her.
Well, because there were so many people there, because if one of us was going to lose, we didn't get a lot of time to ourselves. And then when we did, we didn't. It's like, oh, I might do this. Oh, yeah, maybe. Okay, yeah, maybe we'll do that. But the thing was, I didn't want the match. I was happy I did it after, but like, I got talked into it. But I'm like, I don't want this kind of pressure. It's Reggie, the guy I look up to more than anyone. It's his last match. I don't want to have any regrets for him or anything. So I did work myself up into a frenzy. And you convinced me to do the match by your magic of, oh, Reggie handpicked you and this and that. When I found out later, that wasn't the entire story. But so yes, I was really nervous that I wouldn't give Reggie the going out present he wanted, I guess.
Well, let's start checking it out here. Oh, keep talking. We just got entrances.
All right, cool. The thing with me, I'm a pretty easygoing guy. So, you know, don't plan much. Get out there, and it is what it is. The whole point is everybody, like with Elian and I, they pop the entrances, and it'll be the finish. And that's all that matters to me.
Yeah, that's how I remember the rep coming up saying, guys, what do I got to, or was it who? Old School. And I was just like, hey, man. Oh, no spoilers, but it was like, just count the 3 on this. Everything else.
That's it.
And you had a bunch of family there too, did you not? Like, that hadn't seen you wrestle in a long time.
Yeah, my brother, my buddies, some dude from grade school. It was good, man.
Yeah, it was pretty great experience. It was actually the biggest match I've ever done. And to me, what was actually really special was the build up to the match, because like, you know, you have a match coming up, you share the Facebook poster and all that kind of stuff. But this one actually like had people interested, and I felt like I was actually in like a program where like people were like thought I might be retiring, or like I got a lot of messages about it, like you better win or this and that, or people really got invested in the match before it came up.
Well, the thing too, it was all like on Facebook, all the build up, really, right? It was a couple of weeks before. It was like, boom, Elian, this is what we're doing. All right. So we kept posting on each other's Facebook page and stuff.
What made you pick this entrance theme for this one?
I love this song.
Yeah, because it was
Yeah,
amazing.
exactly. I love the song. So if I was still wrestling, I'd be using this song. Like,
Nice.
piss me off.
And didn't he announce you as coming from Antigua, or was that the other show
Nice.
No,
for one night
the
only,
whole
representing
thing is,
Antigua?
when I started, I always wanted to be like SD Jump. That dude, everybody remembers him, and he always had a job until he didn't want to have a job. That's why I had the Antigua flag, the SD Jones shirt. It was like my summation of the thing.
That's pretty awesome.
I just
And
remember
Joe Dog
here
was
when
playing
he
it
went
right
out
there,
for his
too.
entrance, and I'm like dry heaving in the back. I had worked myself up into a frenzy, and then I'm like, I can just go out there and whatever Reggie says, and then I'm like, end up calling his retirement match a lot of the moves, and I'm like, what if he didn't want to do that move? And I'm like, but he didn't say anything.
Jesus. See, this is a crazy entrance too. Like Reg takes his time. He's gonna take a whole song to get out there, and then you're gonna run around the ring 6 times. Like, I mean, you guys are crazy.
That's what it's all
I just
about.
love it. But there was so much emotion that night. Like, literally, there was a few females in tears. The kids were like, so like it was the most emotional match I've ever been a part of by far.
And you guys definitely drew the house that night too.
Hey, the only thing that pissed me off was somebody had the powder in the match before. It was like all over the flipping ring, man.
You can see it on it too.
Yeah, you can see it in the corner I'm in. Yeah, they had the powder from the BTX match there, and they were like, "Oh, follow this match" or whatever they said, and it's like, "Come on, dude, this is his last match, and you're gonna say that to the guy?" Like,
who said that?
I can't remember.
Okay,
but just something like that.
No. We got Paul Wright and Joe Dog are gonna be doing commentary on this. But first, Joey's gonna do the introductions.
He actually used this on his talent show audition tape. Joe Dog, I mean, not Reggie. Was that from the powder as well, or?
No, it's from the emotion. His hero.
And I felt bad because I was a fan favorite, and Reggie could be both. He was both so many times, but I'm like, this is not going to be good for me because if I retire Reggie, I can't remember what happens in the match, but if I did retire, like, people might be mad at me, like, you retired Reggie, so now Elian's the heel, like.
Nah, I thought of it more. It'd be put on your resume that you retired, like you retired somebody, and then hopefully again you retire somebody else. You know what I mean? Like that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I did retire Sean Ball, but it didn't have the same fanfare as this one had.
Well, that one we knew Sean Ball was going to be coming back just in a new way. Like, it wasn't the end of him; it was just kind of a next chapter. So.
And then, sure enough, a year later, it's like Reggie has someone in his ear trying to get him to come back.
These things happen.
One time only, man. It was just a favor.
He is the Cuban sensation,
Yeah, we must be at the 6-minute mark already here. I believe the match is 17 minutes, but I can't remember if that's with entrances or without.
Without.
The funniest thing, I was blown up already.
Man.
And I haven't even done a thing. Like, it was a little ridiculous. It was hot in there, too.
Yeah, and at first, I felt like it was a little bit too much pressure and I was struggling, but then once we got going, it kind of went okay. But at the beginning, I was kind of like, I don't know, I was just second-guessing everything, I think, and I just had a lot of nerves. My nerves were... I've never had goosebumps like this ever before in wrestling. This was the match that I got into wrestling for, to work a program against Reggie, the guy I respect the most. Like, I don't know, this is what I did all the training and moved away from my family. This made it all worth it.
Was that it? Did he? Oh, that was two. Oh my goodness. That would have been a pretty. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
anyway, these two guys have been all over. We've seen Paul, I believe you and I commentated Reggie Marley versus Steve Carino in Guelph. We've seen Elian Habanero face off against.
And this is
I actually
2018.
really love the commentary too.
This
The
is
commentary, they
2018.
put over the whole match really well.
They did a good job, a real good job.
Yeah,
Both
but I
you guys
mean, if we
started?
don't want to say anything, it's a watch along. It's not a talk along. So we don't really we could just watch it, right?
Oh, you guys
Just
got a
make
comment.
Be like, oh, I can't believe that move or whatever.
No, but you guys both started for PWA in 2005. And then that many years later, you're still doing it into this big matchup. I thought these were two guys who like are staples and pillars in PWA. So it was just such a big match. And then one of them were leaving. I remember the initial post. People were like, what?
Well, that's the whole thing. Legit, you didn't know who would be leaving in a way, right? It could have been Elian. It could have been me. And I know I never wouldn't tell anybody. So I didn't.
And I had a lot of injuries that people knew about too. Like they knew that I was winding down and struggling a little bit here, and then somehow I got talked into another year. But but yeah, it was a toss up for sure. And that's why it's so great at the beginning, the pins, because it's. I know every match the pin is important, but if you pin someone, their career is over. So why not go for that pin in the first 2 minutes or whatever, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Everything's just heightened in this match.
I remember as a sellout at the curtain, that's for sure. There's a lot of people poking around and like just sitting even outside of it and watching too, from the wrestler's point of view.
Oh yeah, I remember going back and just sitting in the chair because like Reggie was having his time in the ring or whatever, and I was just like, man, I really hope I didn't let Reggie down. And Josh was there, and he's like, no, man, it was a good, solid match. And I'm like, he didn't want to plan anything. Like, it's his last match. Nope. He didn't want to plan anything, so I just started calling stuff. He's like, no, it was good, man.
What did we plan? Was that 1, 2, 3? That's good.
Yep.
Was that your thoughts going into it, Reg? You're just gonna be like, see what happens out there?
Yeah, because man, yeah, that's how it always goes, right? If you plan to forget, you forget to plan, like whatever.
But that's not so common these days. A lot of people think of everything and they're going and doing it all. This popped me for some reason when it happened.
My actual, and it's great advice that I got from Reggie. Well, I don't even know if it was really advice, but I think I was just stressing, and I'm like, dude, like, is there anything special you want me to do, or is there anything blah, blah, blah? Like, I probably was bugging him a lot, and he was, because it was his last match, he just wanted to go out do it the right way, and he was just like, hey, man, you go out there and be Elian, and I'll go out there and be Reggie. It'll be great. And I'm like, yeah, that's all I need to do. Like, we know most of our moves. We know when to fire up and when this guy is going to do his thing. And like, so I always held that. That's such a good assumption, like, because people say stuff to me now, like, what do you want to do out there? I'm like, I'm going to go out there and be Elian. And I've stolen that from Reggie.
It's the easiest thing to do. Just be yourself. Yeah, that's a life lesson to everybody.
And it's better because you react to things, or you just like, if you have all this stuff planned, you can't change anything. Where if you don't have anything planned and you think of something good, it's like, oh.
And the emotion of the people, like you feed off of them. So, you know, you're picking on that one kid, and then he reacts, okay, well, I got him now, and you just go with it.
There's actually one. Yeah, exactly. Then you can like, oh, like Elian gets the kid back for Reggie taunting him or whatever. But to me, the funniest spot in this match, I don't want to break kayfabe too much, but it's near the end, and Reggie was like doing his, like, I called it like the farewell tour, where he just like rang me around the outside of the ring and chopped me a bunch and stuff like that. And then it was my turn to chop him back, and I was so blown up. I tried to get back in the ring, and he literally sat down in some guy's lap and made me chop him, because it was like all like the people in the family, because I was supposed to get him back. Like, he chopped me all around the thing, and I'm supposed to, and I'm just trying to get in the ring, and he's like, nah! He like literally sat down himself.
And the funny thing is, that was my buddy from grade school. And after, he's like, you freaking sat down in my lap, and this dude chopped me, and the sweat flew up in my mouth. Oh, I was so mad at you. Oh, it was great.
That's amazing.
And I'm just trying to think of stuff to say, but I remember near the end of the match,
Oh.
because I didn't know, like, if Reggie had something in his mind that he wanted it to end a certain way. I didn't know, or maybe he had thought of something while we were out there. But I just remember going, what's next, man? I'm getting gas. So whatever he had left, I didn't know if he wanted to do like a big double down or a big strike, like trade-off strikes or whatever they do. But I was just letting him know, like, hey, I don't have much left. He's like, finish. I was like, okay, perfect, because I was getting gas. But it was so funny because I was like, hey, man, what else? Because like I had called everything I could think of to call, and here it is.
Oh.
But and then he was like, all right, do the finish. I'm like, perfect.
He pulls him up, but it's always a bad move.
Yeah, exactly. Eh? Why did I?
And look at this,
do it.
taunting the penis in the face.
Man. What was your thoughts of like going out as the bad guy? Because like Elian said, you've been loved, you've been hated, you've been everything in PWA.
You know what though? I love to be hated. It was fun. Like everybody want to be loved, but I love to be hated, man. Somebody got to be the bad guy.
I feel it's harder too. Like, well, I mean, it's hard being a good guy too, but you can just go out there and go, "Yay, me! Let's go!" And then they know you're a good guy. But to really get the reaction from being a bad guy, I feel is a little bit harder in some cases.
Because everybody want to be loved. Like, nah, man, you got to do stuff so people hate you. Like doing. Oh, well, now this is gonna be reversed. But doing that stuff, doing the little wiggle and stuff. It pisses people off, man. And then
I get you back, yeah. The receipt.
Now, if you see my buddy along the wall there, they're feeling themselves laughing at that point too, because Elian got me back with that.
Yeah, that was probably one of the pops. Other than I don't think the finish got a good pop, and especially it actually worked up good. Because if we would have done a big double down and a bunch of false finishes or a big forearm reverse strikes or something, people would know it was next to the ending. And it just kind of came out of nowhere. And so I think people were like, oh my God, like even the commentators were like, oh shit, it's over. Like, but I do say, like, even though you said Reggie went out at it as a heel, when they were doing the entrances, it was a pretty split crowd because he did have a lot of his family and friends there and stuff like that. So he did have a lot of supporters for this match, more than he would at just a regular Alpine Club. If
it was
working
really
heel.
cool because there's a lot of faces in that crowd that I haven't seen in a lot of years, but they had to be at this match to see if Elian or Reggie retired. Like there was a lot of people that came in 07, 08 that were now here in 2018, which was pretty special.
Yeah, like the casuals, the ones that couldn't afford every one, they ain't missing this one. And that was actually one of my favorite spots. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Reggie.
No, I was just saying that the people respected you and I a lot. Enough to come out for our who's ever it was final match. It was pretty cool.
I think no matter what, they would have been sad and happy because, like, happy for the guy that's going to stay around and sad the other guy is going to leave, no matter who it was that won.
Yeah.
And actually, the Spinebuster spot that just happened, that was a really special spot to me because that just came. We didn't even talk about like that whole sequence of moves. Like he started hitting me, and then I just started firing up, and there was no talking. And then I'm like, and then he was kind of reeling. So it was just like classic territory wrestling, and I could just feel it. And I started firing up on him, and then I went to whip him, and I didn't know what to call. And right as I whipped him, he just said "duck spinebuster." Like I don't know how he came, but just like right at the last second, and then the spot, and it was perfect. But it was like not planned. I don't know why, but that's such a thing, I guess, like to brag. It's almost like a rapper. Like, no, I didn't write that down. I freestyled it. It's like, no, we didn't plan all this. We just went in there and did it. So it just, I don't know, makes it more special to me.
Yeah.
And you guys have both been wrestling like 20 years at this point. There's 40 years of wrestling in that ring. So, like, it's just so huge. I just remember it being so special because somebody's like, that's a long time in your life.
Wait, watch this spot. Look, I try and throw him in the ring, and he's like, no. I was trying to throw him in the ring, and he literally just sat on his friend. And then I want it, and he wants me to do it again, and I'm just trying to get in the ring. I'm like, I'm done already.
You seen him point
Because
at
it was
you,
like hard for me to eat.
I think you're right, Paul.
Man.
I remember asking Reggie, I'm like, have you been able to sleep and eat? And he's like, yeah, I'm pretty good or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's just me then. Like,
I was excited, man.
He is just taking it to Reggie Marley, and now it looks like
I was working in front of like childhood friends who like probably haven't seen me wrestle in a long, long time. Like this must have been pretty cool to have all them out supporting you as well.
You know what? The thing with those guys, I haven't seen them since like grade 7. Something like that.
Man.
So that was kind of cool. It was cool they even came out. Like I was shocked. They messaged me at the last thing and say, "Yo, we're coming." And I was like, "Oh, I better not. I better lose them."
Man.
no, I screwed this up. The side set flip, but it still went into the pin. But
I kicked out anyways.
you're retired now. I don't have to deal with you in the locker room scolding me anymore.
Yeah. Now you see this. Some little kid was booing me or yelling at me, so I started mouthing off to the kid.
Reggie now making his way to his feet, but here comes Elian hard into the corner.
And boom, there you go.
Probably there was probably excited.
You see, this another learning lesson. Always looking out the side of your eye. I see Elian coming anyway.
Yeah.
And that's, I believe that's where I said, dude, I'm done. Like, what else?
Yeah.
That's right. Elian Habanero's throwing everything at Reggie.
I've watched this match like 100 times, dude.
I think Reggie maybe made it. Oh, up he
Yeah,
goes
here
again.
it
He got him the first time. Let's see if he can. Oh, but
Counters into the DDT.
DDT.
It's nice with the 2 camera angles, too. Some of the
You know
people
what?
at my work looked me up.
At this point,
The what?
That's right.
old school was stressing right here because he doesn't know. He didn't know when the finish is coming, and I.
Yeah, he probably thought we were going to screw him or something.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And I believe I rub you here with my hand. I'm like rubbing you or something.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't want to do the pat. I was just like rubbing you, like kind of like a thank you thing. I didn't want to do the obvious like thank you for the match or anything like that. So I just rubbed you. I like petted you.
And this was a big sigh of relief. It was finally over.
Yeah.
Right there. That was it, man. I was happy.
Same with
Thank
me.
you,
I
Ian.
agree. I was just so happy. I'm like, nothing went bad. I think that's what it was.
No,
I was
no.
just relieved it was over.
And like you were saying, the crowd was like, yeah, and then they just all clapped. Like the cheering stopped. They're just like, we're just gonna clap.
Oh, yeah. Well, they realized that one of us is gone, and we've been there so long. And the thing with the Alpine Club, people generally love us all, right? Whether you're a good guy or a bad guy, a heel or a face, they just love to love you. And now one of us is gone.
Yeah, once a month for the last 14 years, we've been there, putting on shows, and they've watched you and grown with you guys.
And Reggie never took time off. He was there every month. Like I got injured like 7 different times. And then I said, thank you,
Yeah.
Reggie. And then it's weird because they were just in the middle of the match. Now a minute later, now it's like they're starting to realize they're like, oh shit, he's gone.
Yeah. And I'm trying to get my damn boots off. I didn't know you can't take your boots off that quick.
I was gonna ask you, was it hard getting those boots off after the match? Because you're like staring
man.
at it.
Oh man, my wife was like, "You should have just cut the laces. Where do I have a freaking scissors on?"
That made me laugh too. Follower, Jesus, what?
Oh, I was so mad.
I'm glad you
couldn't
didn't.
get them off. It was ridiculous.
We might be still going to Trinidad, so don't ever cut them.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You never know. This guy's always. You might think he's not wrestling, but he's still got a lot of ideas and a lot of things that we'll see what the future holds for 365.
He randomly
I guess
made me a
for
shirt
everybody
like
else.
3 weeks ago. He's just like, hey man, I got a shirt for you. I'm like, what?
And I'm still working on a revision. So the mind doesn't go. The body might stop, but the mind doesn't go.
Yeah, I tried twittering Shaggy because he lives in Jamaica. The It Wasn't Me song singer or whatever. The reggaeton or whatever, and tried to get us booked in Jamaica. He didn't respond. Is there anything that you didn't say in the speech that you'd like to do a second speech now that you forgot to say?
Well, yeah, I got to thank everybody in my life to this point, and my wife so much for me not being there on the weekend. Thanks for my doctor giving me time off on the weekends when I needed it.
And they're cheering for him, and he still does the heel thing with the poster.
What was your family
face at the end?
Always a heel.
What was your family thinking after all this? Because I know you didn't even get to go out with them. Like, you came out with all the fans and everything. We had a big after party there at BP. Like, when you got home, or was it like the next day when you guys talked about it, or is it just like the family's like, we don't care, it's done, yay?
Yeah, no, it's like Dad's home now. What are you gonna take? So they didn't mind. And now if I ever say, yeah, hey, what if Dad wrestles again? No, Dad. No, you're too old, Dad.
Wow.
You gotta take me to soccer, Dad. So there's no chance of nothing. They're just more interested now my time with them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the little tickets.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually, the greatest part for me was later that night, I'm sitting around waiting, and I finally get the text from Reggie that he was happy with how it went, and then I just felt on top of the world. I was like, man, I already felt like that, but just that exclamation point that he said he was happy with it or whatever. We exchanged a couple emotional messages, and I was like, that's why I got into wrestling. This is my dream come true. And then I still couldn't sleep.
Man. Me too. Like, I got a lot of messages from a lot of people that night that I haven't talked to in a long time, and it was pretty cool. And that was what you think. When you started, you always think about the end, how you want to go out, and that's exactly how I wanted to go out.
Man, that's what I was gonna say. Do you have any regrets? But apparently not. Thank you guys so much for doing this. This was huge. I'll maybe do a last word type thing. Elian, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking I'm glad you picked this one, because the last PWA show where me and Reggie did it again, I wasn't happy with my performance. I just didn't have anything left. And I love that match too, but Reggie said this to me, so I'll just steal it. So he let me go first. 3 of the best memories ever I've had in wrestling are with Reggie, including the hacksaw match. But that's why you get into it. Like the retirement match and the final PWA show, and then obviously the hacksaw match was special. So sorry for taking your thing, man, but it's true. It is true.
You just did it, eh? Like, legit, 3 of my favorite matches were with Elian. So what more can you say? It was
making moments. That's what you guys did for PWA many times. So thank you guys so much. There's so many matches with you guys. There's damn straight going to be another time we have you guys on. But thank you for being part of the first ever 365 Pro Wrestling Watch Along. Take care, guys.
All right, take it easy.
Cuba.